Let's be honest, are you feeling like you're drowning in a sea of AI tools? Because you're definitely not alone. It seems like every single day there's a new app promising to completely revolutionize the way you work. But here's the real problem. Choosing the wrong one, that's actually worse than choosing none at all. So in this explainer, we're going to throw you a lifeboat, a simple, practical framework to help you cut through all that hype and find the right AI for your job.
Okay, let's start with this number right here, 4.1. Any guesses? Well, according to Jamelius, that's the average number of hours you and most professionals spend on email every single day. Just let that sink in for a second. That's basically half of your workday just gone. Imagine you're trying to prep for a massive presentation, right? But you can't even get started because your inbox is just this relentless flood of pings and requests. This is the exact kind of headache AI promises it can solve.
And right there, that's the paradox, isn't it? We have a huge problem, and now we have 1,000 different solutions all screaming for our attention. But choosing the wrong tool isn't just a waste of a monthly subscription fee. It can be a total disaster. It can create new problems, expose your company to huge security risks, and just crush your team's morale when they have to learn another useless piece of software. So before we get lost in that jungle of features, let's draw ourselves a map.
To make a really smart choice, you first have to understand the terrain. I mean, without a map, it's just way too easy to get overwhelmed by all the options out there. But the good news is, most professional AI tools, they really only fall into one of two main camps. And understanding this one simple distinction, it's your first and honestly, your most important step.
So this is your first big decision. On one side, you've got an integrated layer. This is the kind of tool that just slides right into the software you're already using, like Gmail or Outlook. On the other side, you've got a standalone client, which completely replaces your current app with something new. Now, an integrated tool means there's pretty much no learning curve for your team, which is huge. A standalone client, though, it might be faster, more powerful, but it forces everyone to change their habits. So the real question you have to ask is, are you looking to just enhance your current workflow, or are you ready to completely rebuild it from the ground up?
Okay, so once you've decided which path you want to go down, integrated or standalone, you're going to need a way to judge the tools you find. So, pulling from insights from sources like TrioDev and Gramilius, we've put together a super practical checklist. Think of this as your compass. 4 critical questions you can use right now to evaluate any AI tool that comes your way.
Let's break these down real quick. First up, workflow fit. Look, if your new AI email tool can't talk to your CRM, you're just creating more copy-paste work for yourself. It has to connect. Second, team skills. An absolutely amazing tool that requires a PhD to use is just going to sit there and gather digital dust. Ask yourself, could a new hire figure this out in their first week? Third, and this is the big one, data security. We're going to dig way deeper into this in just a second. And fourth, true cost. The sticker price is never the real price. You have to think about implementation fees, the cost of training, and any of those paid add-ons you're definitely going to need.
Of everything on that checklist, this is the one you absolutely cannot compromise on. Seriously, data security and governance are non-negotiable. When you use an AI tool, you're feeding it your company's crown jewels. We're talking client lists, financial data, secret strategic plans. Governance is just the rule book for how that vendor is going to protect your information. Getting this wrong isn't just a mistake, it's an existential risk.
So, you need to become a tough interrogator. Ask vendors these questions, point blank. First, do you have a zero retention policy? That's just a fancy way of asking, do you delete my data the second you're done using it? The only acceptable answer is yes. Next, can I control who on my team sees what? Your summer intern should not have access to the same data as your CEO. And finally, can you provide audit logs and anonymized data? For anyone in a regulated industry, this is just foundational stuff. You need to demand clear, confident answers. All right, now that you have your map and your compass, let's talk about the traps. Knowing what to look for is really only half the battle. You also need to know which common, hype-fueled mistakes to actively run away from. Let's look at the top 3. The first mistake is so easy to make. You get mesmerized by a long list of shiny features that don't actually solve your core problem. It's kind of like buying one of those 12-piece professional chef's knife sets when all you really do is make toast. Sure, it looks impressive, but it's expensive and totally useless for what you actually need. You have to focus on the problem you're trying to solve, not the tool's bells and whistles.
And this quote from TrioDev just says it perfectly. You've got to define your pain point first and then go find the tool that's built to solve it, not the other way around.
The second mistake, and it's a massive one, is treating security like it's just some checkbox item you'll look at later on. Now, I know we've already covered this, but it's so critical it's worth repeating. A data breach isn't some little technical hiccup. It's a fundamental betrayal of your client's trust that can lead to absolutely devastating fines and completely ruin your reputation. And again, this warning from TrioDev is about as clear as it gets. The potential cost of a security failure will always outweigh the cost of the tool itself. Always. And the final mistake is falling into what's called the black box trap. A black box is when an AI gives you an answer, like a sales forecast or a legal summary, but you have absolutely no idea how it got to that conclusion. You're just blindly trusting the output. I mean, imagine a financial AI telling you to invest your life savings in a stock, but it refuses to show you the data behind its recommendation. That's the danger we're talking about.
The crucial takeaway here is this: AI should be your co-pilot, not the pilot. For any task where the stakes are high, you have to make sure a skilled human can double-check and validate the results. AI is here to augment our judgment, not replace it.
So, after navigating the landscape, using your checklist, and avoiding all those common traps, how do you actually find your true north? Well, we've learned that the goal isn't to find the single best AI tool out there. The real goal is to find the right AI tool for your specific job, your specific team, and your specific workflow. So I want to leave you with a different way to frame your search. Most people, they look at a feature list and they ask, what can this tool do for me? I'm going to challenge you to flip that question around. Look at your own work, your own day, and ask yourself, what is the single most repetitive, most time-consuming bottleneck I have? What is the one task that if I could just eliminate it forever would completely change the game for me? Find the honest answer to that question, and that's where your search for the right AI really begins.